No? Okay. Zoom. Any questions on Zoom? Jen?
Hey, everybody. Um, Sydney, I'll start with you. Just looking at the turnovers, how do you kind of approach, how do you look at that at this point in the season, and how do you kind of approach that at this point, late in the season when you guys kind of have that chemistry? Like, what's the next thing to work on to try to cut those?
Yeah, you always look at like what kind of turnovers. We had a decent amount of like their ball pressure turnovers. Maybe not as many like kind of risky 50-50 passes, which is always something that we're trying to limit. So, a little bit of length and athleticism that bothered us. And we just they got us there. And for 2 games, we've struggled with our assists and and turnovers, and leading into a pair of games against the Sun, we were in a nice groove there. So we'll get back to it, but got to learn from this for sure.
Kiki, Sonia, kind of on that note, when you look at the offense over the past 2 games, what do you feel like has worked and what do you feel like hasn't quite worked against kind of the pressure that the Sun have been putting on you guys?
I think our coaches are doing a good job of making adjustments for us. I think we're still young, which is not an excuse, but we're kind of reacting to those adjustments a little bit too late. I feel like the fourth quarter, we kind of picked it up, but at the fourth quarter, there's only so much we can do. So I think for us, it's one, being able to recognize the adjustments. They were downing us a lot and not always have to rely on our coaches to tell us. But then two, like when we're given that information, apply it much quicker. But definitely these 2 games we've already talked about as a team. Steph and AC have been really vocal. Like, this is not how we play basketball, and it's bigger than the loss. It's just how we played today, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't the way we like to play. So definitely going into this last stretch of games, we know we have to turn it up. We have 2 good teams coming back home, so we'll regroup and make sure that we're ready for this weekend.
And just one more from me for either you, Sonia, Kiki, again, with that point being, this isn't how you want to play basketball. How do you kind of approach, you've got tomorrow with no game, but then the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. How are you guys kind of approaching turning the page and, playing up to the level that you want to play at this weekend?
I mean, I think it's just watching film, not letting this game get us down, but learning from it. There's a lot to learn from these past 2 games. So just taking those lessons, and then going into this weekend. I mean, just giving it all we have. Playing with joy, playing hard, and playing together. Which, like Kiki said, like we've said, we've kind of strayed away from, but just playing hard, playing the way we want to play.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Tyler?
Hey, Sydney, it seemed like you guys really struggled to kind of get in your actions early. Is that a fair assessment? And how did that kind of happen?
That's a fair assessment. I do think we spent a lot of time focusing on what we were trying to do, and it just took us some time to get into that groove of reading the game and you know, um, really getting to those scoring actions that we wanted. I also say, we didn't get much that I can recall in transition that kind of eases things up for you. That's always why I love, playing faster, and we haven't been quite as efficient in transition. And so that kind of loosens things up for them. We don't want to score in a half court all game, and it felt like that type of game. So just trying to find some efficiency in the fast break, and also just kind of getting to that second and third action a little bit quicker in the half court will benefit us greatly.
And I also want to check in on Jade. Obviously, she went out there in the first half. Is she good to go? Any update that you have there?
Yeah, never would have let her touch the court without her being, you know, excellent. So, she's just so tough. It's amazing. Just really, really tough. But yeah, we wouldn't have rolled the dice. So, assuming I didn't get any negative word to hold her back, and so let her get out there, and glad that she was able to compete with us in the second half.
And last one for Sonia. Kiki brought up AC and Steph and how they're trying to lead you guys at this point in the year. How are they kind of keeping you grounded, especially in these moments here where you have back-to-back games where the offense is struggling, the defense, you aren't getting the output that you want there as well?
I mean, I think they just have a lot of experience, so they're very smart players and they share that knowledge with us. And then I think they also are just very honest and real and they just tell us what it is. After the game, like Kiki said, Steph just said, like, just we really got to look at ourselves and ask if we're playing as hard as we can. And it might be hard to hear, but they're always just very honest with us. And even though it is hard to hear, I think they're just very steady, never too high, never too low, and they help us be the same way. But yeah, I think it's just their experience and their knowledge and their willingness to share it with us.
Thank you all. That's all I have.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.